All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thanks, as always, for being here. Once again, say the same thing every episode, but we really are thankful for you guys taking the time out of your day to listen to us, watch us. You should watch this episode on YouTube because we're going to have some interactive
This one's going to be interactive
coming up. You'll still enjoy it if you're not watching it on YouTube, but if you're not watching us on digital or on youtube.com/digital barbell, you need to head over there. Click the subscribe button, as the kids say. Click the notification bell so you get notified every time we put a new. I'm going to be my next idea for a YouTube video, and you could be on it too if you want.
Okay.
Is how to read food labels. We have another piece of content out there about this, but you take away the mystery out of food. You can stop categorizing food as good or bad or healthy or unhealthy if you understand how to read the dang label. And I want to really make it very clear to people how to do that. So that should be coming pretty soon. Instead of a sponsor this week, we have an anti-sponsor. That means this is like somebody that we just don't want to have sponsor our podcast.
Ooh, okay.
It's controversial.
Uh-oh.
It's Instagram.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this for a second. When we started Digital Barbell, even when you owned the gym, Instagram was a big focus of it. Constant content.
Yeah.
You got to be putting out content. I mean, we've actually gone through phases with Digital Barbell where we've posted 2-3 times per day, 7 days a week consistently for a long time. I think we have over 2,300 posts just in our feed on Instagram, not even counting the story and stuff. And to be honest, Blakely and I are kind of getting burnt out on posting on Instagram.
And it's really just because of what they've done to the system. It's like they've taken the power away from the people who post and given it all to their algorithm. So it doesn't even matter what you do anymore. It's up to them whether it gets shown. Even if it gets shown to the people who say quote, I like Digital Barbell, I'm going to follow what y'all do. It's up to them if they show it to that specific audience or not.
Yeah, I mean, we might put a lot of time and effort into making a post and writing a meaningful caption, and out of our, I forget how many followers we have, 2,600 or something. Maybe they show it to 150 people, 5% of the people that follow us, and
I don't know how they decide.
And then the other thing with Instagram that's just made us get burnt out on it is, like you said, you're always trying to figure out what should we be posting.
They're always
favoring reels
the
now. They're favoring carousels. They want pictures. It's this never ending. Honestly, if we're being honest, it's a waste of time trying to figure out the gamification of how do we get stuff in front of people on Instagram. Yeah. And then the other fact is just no matter if you hack the algorithm and post content that they're going to show to a lot of people, it's gone like a fart in the wind.
It's not searchable
instantly.
Yeah, it's not an indexable, searchable media. So it's just like you said, it's a swipe and gone. Yeah. And I mean, I myself have gone and used the save. Oh, that's good information. I've saved this. I never go back and look at those. So it really is gone. No matter if someone likes it, comments it, saves it, shares it, it's gone in an instant. So we're focusing our attention on things that are ours and things that are not gone in an instant. YouTube is searchable and it's there forever. Blogs are searchable and there forever. Emails, they are gone. I mean, they're in an inbox and can be saved, or we have them archived.
And we control when we click send. It goes to that person's inbox.
So our website, our YouTube channel, the content we send out is what our main focus is now. Yeah. We're not going to throw Instagram out the window. It's a part of the business, but it's not the focus. But that's kind of how this whole podcast came to be. As back in 2021, we used to spend a ton of time creating really, really good information on Instagram in the form of infographics. Those were really popular, and I would, after work, I would sit on the couch and we'd be watching TV or something, and I would just be fiddling on my iPad creating these infographics.
Sometimes they take 2-3 hours to make one.
And they were chock full of information, and we still luckily have them all, and they like you said, like I said, they were just gone in an instant. So I want to find a way to like get them somewhere on our website, the ones that are really helpful. But we are going to talk through several of them today. And that's why it's going to be a little interactive. If you are able to watch it on YouTube, we'll also pop it on the screen and show you what we're talking through. But they are just some really great information that can be like quick, usable information you can take with you and just, okay, yeah, I can use that. Oh yeah, that's the other thing we focus on is podcast. We didn't mention that one. That's the huge one.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah, let's roll through these.
Okay, the first one is how to lose weight with no extra time. So these are like little quick things, the quick swaps and changes that you can make within your diet and what you eat.
Because one of the main objections you get when anybody's like, I want to get in shape, but I'm busy.
Right.
I don't have time. So these things don't actually require you to take any more time.
Yeah.
They're just about the actual choices that you make.
Okay. First one is opt for the lean proteins.
All right. Benefit of choosing lean proteins over non-lean proteins is that you're going to get more protein per calorie and you're just going to get less calories overall. You're going to lose weight because you're eating less calories. You're going to get more protein, which is helpful for fat loss also. The definition of a lean protein is one that gets more than 80% of its calories, preferably 90 or more percent of its calories from protein and not fat. So this is stuff like turkey breast, chicken breasts, ground turkey that's 90, 95% lean, ground beef that's 90, 95% lean. Just has less fat content in it than the alternative, like a greasy hamburger, chicken thigh, pork, that kind of stuff.
All right, second one on the list was dip the dressing. And then I would also say if that's like if you're at a restaurant and if you can control your own, I would say swap the dressing.
Ditch the dressing?
No, I would say swap. We use dressing every day.
Yep.
I would say swap the dressing for something that is not oil-based, that is like a yogurt-based dressing. So dip the dressing if you're at a place that you don't know what it is going to be. That way you can control the amount. And swap the dressing if you're at home and you purchase dressings and you turn it over and you look at that label and it's 120 calories a serving and wow. So
I use 3 servings.
You can go to something like a Bolt House, which we always talk about, that we recommend. That's more like 35 calories a serving.
Yeah.
And then also helpful is to measure your dressing every once in a while to see how much you're actually using, because that can be very eye-opening. You could be using 3 to 4 servings of dressing without even knowing it.
And just in case somebody doesn't know what we mean by dip the dressing, it means when you're at a restaurant, order it on the side. Yeah. Take your fork, take your bite of salad, dip part of that bite into the salad, into the dressing. Don't drown that whole bite in the dressing. And see how much.
We all know what dip the dressing.
See how much dressing you can have left over at the end of the meal. I bet you only use about half of it versus just dumping the entire thing over the salad. And then by the time you get to the good stuff at the bottom of the salad, it's totally drenched in dressing and calories. Takes no extra time.
Next one is skip the quote salads, which in this case we meant like tuna salad, chicken salad, things like that. Things that if you're buying food at a restaurant that are just going to be drowned in mayonnaise, probably the highest fat mayonnaise, delicious.
Yep.
But this is seemingly a healthy option, but not a healthy option when you're out.
Yeah, I had chicken salad.
Yeah,
like you had a chicken salad or you had chicken salad. Big difference.
Swap your snacks. So choose protein-based snacks over non-protein-based snacks or nuts.
Big one I run into, especially with this last group of people that did the nutrition audit, is looking at their snacks. How many people out there snack habitually on trail mix, nuts, and that kind of stuff? Those things pack a huge calorie punch. So swap those out for high protein snacks as often as you can.
Yeah. Next one was bag it up. So like if you are eating out at a restaurant, I've talked to many times about how many more calories you're going to be consuming. So one thing you can do is to take half of that home and eat it for another meal.
Yeah, have that as your meal tomorrow.
And the last one here, we just did this at the beginning of this nutrition challenge we started in May, but dump the drinks, meaning like dump the calorie infused drinks like sodas, super high calorie coffees, all of the things
milkshakes
that you don't really know that you're just consuming liquid calories.
Yep. Drink water, not calories.
All right. That's great. That was one. What?
I was just going to say, none of those things take any extra time. They only take a little bit of effort.
Take a little bit of effort.
But you could easily lose a pound a week just by doing those 6 simple things.
Lose weight with no extra time.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Speaking of cutting calories, this is 5 things to check before you cut calories.
Let's set the stage here.
Yeah.
Like you're tracking your calories. Maybe you were losing weight, or maybe you just weren't losing weight at all. If you're not losing weight at all from the get-go, your calories are set too high. If you were losing weight and it stopped, the temptation might be like, well, time to drop my calories. Yeah. Probably not. Like recent research has shown that most people can continue to lose weight for up to 2 years on the same calories before any kind of metabolic adaptation comes in. That's a long time. And there's more likely something else going on that's blocking your fat loss other than your calories. So here's the things to check before you cut your calories.
Exactly. So calories count the same on the weekends. That's the first one. So are you, strict 4 to 5 days a week, and then
all rules are off?
All rules are off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, and then you try to bring it back in on the week. That could be something to just have an awareness of and make sure that things are not going so too crazy on the weekends, that you're undoing all the things that you've done throughout the week.
And actually it will backfire on you if you try to drop your calories even lower during the week. If you're going nuts on the weekend, you're going to overcompensate even more by slashing calories Monday through Thursday.
Yeah. Next one is, are you eating more food from restaurants? So we just talked about how many more calories you consume when you don't have control of what you're eating. And even if you are looking at your plate and you're logging all the things on there, you are probably not logging it correctly with the amount of fats that is in the food. So we always recommend to add, a tablespoon?
A tablespoon of oil per item on your plate.
So you had like a burger, that's a tablespoon of it. You had some fries, that's another tablespoon. You had
even if you had like sauteed vegetables.
Sauteed vegetable, that's another tablespoon of butter. And you might look at your log and be like, whoa, I don't want all this calories. This is not right. I'm not eating this, but you are eating that. So before you cut calories, just think about how many times you're eating out where you don't control the food.
Yeah. Or like even beyond the part about adding oil to your food log to account for it, just decide like, do I want to eat out this many times? Like go watch our video on how much it costs to eat healthy. And you'll realize that not only are you wasting calories, but you're wasting a lot of money too.
Yeah. Next one is, did your exercise change? So thinking about what you've been doing over the last few months, like were you working out differently a few months ago? Were you working out more a few months ago? Maybe even your steps, like did you used to hit around like 10, 11,000 steps and now you're in the 7 to 8? All of these things will be affecting your weight loss at this time.
This one is a sneaky one because people kind of forget that even though the point of exercise isn't to burn calories to cause fat loss, it does contribute to your overall calorie burn. And if you were consistently working out 4 times a week and then life got busy and you got out of the habit and you're like 1-2 times per week, that's going to halt your weight loss progress just from the calorie burn. But sometimes we're so fixated on the food, we forget that there is the other side of the equation too.
Did your non-exercise activity change? These are things like what I've been realizing I'm doing right now is just like swaying back and forth as I'm talking and probably being very distracting, like tapping my feet, tapping your feet, like doing things. And this is something that might not, I don't know, why would this change? Because if it's just like habits, why would this just change all of a sudden?
You just like, let's say like you have a standing desk like we do that goes both up and down. Have you gotten in the habit of just leaving it down and not moving it? Like, are you getting up and going for a walk less often during the day? Your step count is one thing, but it's just like the little things that were you in the habit of parking far away at the grocery store and now you're parking close because you just want to get in and out as quickly as possible. All this stuff is small when you think about it in the context of one thing by itself, but it can add up over the course of time.
Yeah. Like for example, we tried to start kind of like step up our step game recently. And I've done this for some of my clients too recently who are embarking on some hikes.
Some epic hikes. And like that is all about like upping your step count. Like you just got to have time on your feet. And
sneaking in these like 10-minute walks, like before your workout, 10 minutes on the treadmill or 10 minutes around like your driveway or wherever you can go, or a 10-minute break at work. And then, a few hours later, another 10-minute one. Like yesterday, Jonathan wasn't feeling the best. We did 3 10-minute walks around our driveway with the dogs. And by the end of the day, you had almost
still hit 10,000.
You had still hit 10,000 steps, not feeling good, mainly just working from his desk. But 3 times we went for 10-minute walks just so he could accumulate some steps. And boom, like it's like, it seems small, but it makes such a huge impact. Yep. And if you sit like all day long, I know I'm going off on this one, but I think it's important. Like if you sit like all day long and then you're like, okay, I have 3,000 steps. It's a lot of effort to try to like, okay, now I got to go walk for an hour. But if you can just sneak these little 5-10 minute efforts in here and there, you're going to be amazed what a difference it makes at the end of the day.
And we're talking about this in the context of like a weight loss plateau, basically. And the way that this normally plays out is like, there will be that day where you don't do it. You only hit 4,000 steps. And the tendency for people is to let that snowball into, well, I didn't hit it yesterday. I'll just, let it slide the rest of this week and get back on track later. And that becomes 2 weeks. That's how this happens.
Yeah. And so it's really the weekly accumulation that this, can take effect, not each day. If you don't hit it in one day, that's, like move on, like that's over, and let's hit it this next day. So the
bottom line is, if you catch yourself slipping, you got to be honest with yourself and do something to correct it as soon as you can. Don't lower your calories instead.
All right. Last one on this one is, how is your stress and your sleep?
Common misconception is that lack of sleep causes weight gain and that stress causes weight gain. Those two things in and of themselves do not cause weight gain, but they can contribute to the thing that does cause weight gain: eating too much food. If you are stressed, you are probably going to eat more. If your sleep has been terrible, you're absolutely going to eat more, because there's a physiological effect on the hormones that tell you whether you should be eating or not.
And you're probably not going to be moving as much because you're tired.
Right. So instead of dropping calories, get to the source of the problem. Fix the thing in your life that is stressing you out to no end, instead of just dealing with it through coping mechanisms. Find a way to build a routine in the evening that starts to get you ready for sleep. Yeah. Stop scrolling your phone in bed. Go to bed earlier. There's a little known research study that shows that people who get in the bed earlier go to sleep earlier. Get in the bed earlier than you usually do. It's amazing how it works.
Cool. All right. This one will be quick, but we're always asked about protein powder and how do I buy protein powder?
There once was a time that I thought protein powder was steroids.
Okay. Protein powder 101. What to know before you buy protein powder. First thing is reading that label and looking at the total protein per serving. So what are we looking for there?
You want to have at least 20, if not 25 or 30 grams of protein per serving. So
20 to 25 to 30 grams per serving of protein. All right. Next thing is we want the number of BCAAs per serving. What do we want there?
The BCAAs are the amino acids out of the 9 essential amino acids that are the ones that signal your body to start building and repairing muscle. That's the reason we supplement with protein powders. We want those BCAAs in the presence of all the amino acids. But anyway, we need to have in the neighborhood of 5.5 to 6 grams of the 3 BCAAs combined to reach that threshold. If you're looking at your protein powder and they don't even tell you how many grams of BCAAs are in it, that's not a good sign. You should get on the website and see if they have it hidden somewhere in there, because I have seen a lot of unscrupulous protein powders, and they're usually more expensive for some reason. They have a really poor amino acid profile. So you're looking for that 5.5 to 6 grams combined of the 3 branched chain amino acids.
Okay.
Leucine, isoleucine, and valine.
All right. And we mentioned a 2-1-1 ratio.
Right.
So that's what you just mentioned, right?
Right. Leucine should be the one that's in the 2 ratio.
Okay. All right. Ingredients to look for. A whey isolate, a whey concentrate, pea protein, or soy protein are some of the sources of protein we want to look for.
Yeah, I should have added egg to this one, but egg protein is disgusting.
So the whey, pea and soy are those options if someone has a they don't tolerate the whey proteins as well, or they just prefer not to have whey.
You're probably going to find a combination of pea, soy, and rice in most, or 2 of those 3. But when they're all combined, they give you a complete spectrum of the amino acids. But if you tolerate dairy, just going straight for whey isolate or concentrate is the way to go. Whey isolate will have less calories because it has a lot of the fat and the sugar from lactose filtered out.
The pea proteins seem to have a little bit more sugar to make the flavor more digestible. True. Like I can tolerate dairy, but I get a stomach ache if I drink whey protein. So I've always opted for like a pea protein, and they always are more sugar added, but you
just think about it, like we're trying to with a non-dairy protein supplement, we're trying to get protein from a vegetable, which is mainly a source of carbs. So it's possible, but it's always going to take more of it to get to the threshold of how much protein is in this vegetable.
I remember when I owned the gym and we found I was at Trader Joe's, we found a pure like pea protein with no sugar and got it. And like, it was this hilarious joke. We would I passed it around to everybody.
I was not cheap.
It was so stinky and it's tasted so disgusting and everybody wanted to try it. And it was just like this, it was hilarious.
Free protein? Yeah.
I was like, anybody can have this. And everybody was like, it's disgusting. There's no way.
I think we just threw it away eventually.
Yeah. So other important things to look for is less than 5 grams of carbs.
That could be tough to fulfill on a veggie protein, but it'll be awesome if you can.
Option. Less than 2 grams of fat.
That's good because you don't want a lot of calories from fat in your protein supplement.
And ingredients that you recognize. So not a long paragraph of ingredients.
There aren't a whole lot of reasons to have a lot of things. I mean, obviously, like the flavoring is going to have some number of ingredients to it, but there's no reason to overcomplicate it if we're just trying to supplement protein.
And I think this was a joke. We added an optional thing to look for are words like shreds with a Z, nitro,
ripped,
RIPP.
I mean,
D.
Go to GNC and just look at the labels on these things. They are ridiculous, especially like the mass gainers.
Oh man. Okay, that was a good one. All right, this is great. Non-scale progress. So what are we talking about here?
It's great to measure your weight, whether you're trying to gain or lose weight. It is one of the most important.
Great to measure your weight?
It's great to measure your weight.
To weigh yourself.
What is happening on the scale?
To weigh yourself.
I would highly encourage you, if you have aspirations of changing your physique, your body composition and health, to see what's going on with your weight. Not so much what happens with it every single day, but the average as it goes across the week.
It's hard to not get flustered every day, but you just have to take it and take the whole week and in stride and not get flustered every day, but to get that measurement every day is what you're saying.
Right.
But
so hello, fly.
Yeah, there's a fly. There's been a fly in here for like 2 days. Can't leave. And
I feel like we're back in Boise. Okay. So like I said, it's great to measure your weight, but if it's the only thing that you're measuring, you are setting yourself up for stress, frustration, and a likelihood of giving up on the plan altogether, because it is not always going to do what you think it should do based on your compliance, consistency, all that kind of stuff.
I'd say more specific, especially not just only, but especially for women.
Especially for women.
Because weight fluctuates monthly. Yes.
So we have to have other things to measure other than your weight to make sure that we're making progress. Because if we're looking at our weight and like it's not working, we're likely to just give up. So we have to have non-scale metrics of progress to look at too.
Okay. So some of these are you able to lift more weight?
It's a sign that you're getting stronger.
Right.
Guess how you get stronger? You build new muscle tissue. Guess what happens with new muscle tissue? It weighs something.
Yep.
So that's going to affect what your body weight does.
Are your body measurements going down?
So we talk all the time about the difference between body weight and body composition. Body weight is the number that you see on the scale, the total weight of all of your mass working against gravity. And your body composition is the ratio of how much of that weight is made up of muscle, bone, fat, water, all these different things. We are not just after weight loss. We're after an improvement in our body composition. And one of the best ways to check that, other than looking yourself in the mirror, is to measure what your body is doing. Because as you lose fat in the places where we tend to hold fat, like our stomachs, our thighs, our hips, all that kind of stuff, we'll see those shrinking. And if we're offsetting that weight of the fat being lost with building muscle, we might be confused if we're just looking at the scale. But if we see that our waist measurement went down an inch, boom, we're losing fat.
I would say even better than this is how our clothes fitting, because that is a thing that is like, if you have a pair of pants, those pants are not changing. Like you could put the measuring tape on the wrong line of your waist and all these things. And like, but how are your clothes fitting is a huge indication.
It's a great one.
Of what your body is doing.
I have some shorts that let me know when it's like time to start reining it in. Had them a long time and like whoa. I gotta suck it in to button these. They get a little uncomfortable when you're sitting.
Are you seeing some muscles pop out?
Yeah.
Huge indication that you're dropping body fat.
This is like another reason to video some of your workouts sometimes, especially when you're doing an exercise. One of my clients commented on her bench press this week. Oh, nice to see some arm muscles popping out on these bench press.
I comment all the time to my clients. I'm like, hello, look at your arms right now. Like, it's really cool. Do you have more energy?
Yeah. Like you are fueling yourself appropriately, despite what's going on the scale. Like so many people are in the restrict mindset just to watch the number on the scale go down. They get to the point where they have no energy. They feel totally like crap.
Yeah.
And then they throw the whole plan out the window, even if the scale was going down, because it's like, this is not worth it.
Yeah. And last one, are you sleeping better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another sign of good recovery. And, the only way to know if you're making progresses in any of these areas is to look at them. It's not enough just to be like, yeah, I should check that. You need to like come up with a plan to actually do it. This is the reason that we, like with our clients, have metrics and TrueCoach set up. We have a folder for progress pictures.
Yeah.
And we're monitoring this stuff on a day-to-day basis, along with what's going on with people's weight, if their goal is to lose fat or build muscle.
I want to talk about something fun right now. This is reminding me of this energy one. We recently just like binge watched the Conor McGregor documentary on Netflix. Like, we're not UFC fans. Never was like, oh yeah, I got to watch this or anything. I don't even know why we started it, but fascinating. He has a really cool mindset. Like, I mean, says some really like inspirational things. Major work ethic, obviously, but the energy thing, like they have to like shed their weight, before the day before the weigh-in, and like so drained of their energy. Like they've sweat so much, they haven't eaten, they haven't drinking water. Like he had to be like pulled up to stand. I mean, it's just crazy to see what depriving yourself of food and water does to you in a day.
Look at the people on that show alone.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. They get to where they're like, I have to just sit in here for 12 hours in my little cabin thing that I've built.
Yeah.
If I go gather some food, some wood, I'm going to lose my energy. Yeah.
I think people forget that food is energy.
Food is our energy source.
And workouts give you energy too. It's like, I hear, people talk in my regular life, just like, I'm so tired. I have no energy. Like, well, you eat horribly and you don't exercise. Those are the things that give you energy.
It's like saying like, my car is out of gas.
My car won't go.
But I'm not going to the gas station.
Right.
All right. Daily weight fluctuation. Frustration. So these are like some common culprits for like fluctuations in your weight that might be something that's going on that's not like food related.
Not to do with you gaining or losing fat.
Right. So just like kind of like things to check before you wreck yourself by depriving yourself of more calories.
Yeah.
We're all about you guys eating more and more food. All right. Number one is you drank a lot of water yesterday. You could have some extra water weight.
Yeah. People will forget 60, 70% of your body is water.
Right. I actually popped on the scale today and I was like, I'm up, like my weight like shot up like almost 1.5 pounds. And Jonathan reminded me that we just did Murph. So number 2 is here. You had an intense workout yesterday and you are recovering. Intense workouts. We don't commonly do 45-minute workouts. Like, where you're 45 minutes in one thing. make you gain some weight. And I got a new water bottle, drinking tons of water right now.
I think people forget that like a heavy, not just a long duration workout like Murph, but a heavy weightlifting session can cause your weight to spike up the next day too.
Mm-hmm. Number 3, you ate more processed, salty foods yesterday.
Yep.
Salt
doesn't make you gain fat. I think that's a comment. Like, how can I avoid? I'm gonna avoid eating salt today because I don't want my fat. I don't want to gain weight tomorrow.
It makes you retain water.
You might retain some water, but
which looks like weight on the scale.
It is weight on the scale.
Yeah, it's weight on the scale.
It's water weight, but it's not body fat.
It's not body fat, but your body actually weighs more.
Correct.
So, yes.
This is really to explain the most common culprits of your daily weight fluctuations.
You ate more carbs than usual yesterday.
Yeah.
Same idea there. You're going to be retaining more water.
Correct. Should you continue to eat more carbs, your weight will probably stay elevated. Mm-hmm. If you continue to eat more calories, you will store more fat.
Right.
So be careful with the types of carbs that you choose. Are they ones that routinely make you eat too many calories, like me with granola or ice cream? I should probably steer clear of those kinds of carbs most days.
Because in that case, you will, number 5, eat more total food than yesterday. So if you're presented with an ice cream situation, you're probably going to have more calories than you normally would. Even if you substituted, I'm going to have ice cream instead of my popsicle. Popsicle is controlled. Ice cream is not controlled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also people just forget that the food that you eat takes time to digest. Mm-hmm. Like when you step on the scale in the morning, some of that food is still sitting in your stomach. So if you eat physically more food one night, you're going to weigh more because it's still in your body. But so long as the weekly calorie flux works itself out, it doesn't have anything to do with whether you're gaining fat or not.
You can do number 6.
You need to duty. Let's. You guys are friends, right? We can talk about this. Constipation makes your weight go up. Mm-hmm. It's a fact of being human. And I do feel sorry for people that struggle with this a lot. Like there are things that you can work on with your diet and hydration to help regulate your digestion. But if you're somebody who struggles with this, it's tough and it does affect what you see on the scale every day. But once again, it's not causing you to store fat.
Right. For women, you could be starting to retain water. And then finally, your weight was down a lot yesterday.
Well, you skimmed over that a little bit. Let me just say that having worked with dozens and dozens of women, it's completely normal for women to gain 1 to 5 pounds in the time surrounding their cycle. And the interesting thing is, like in some women, it's the week before. In some women, it's the week during. Not really the week after. That's usually when it flushes out. But don't get discouraged. There's this saying in weightlifting that mass moves mass. So let's say that you do have 5 extra pounds of water weight. You're probably going to be a little bit stronger. Go into your workouts with the mindset that you're going to be able to lift more weight. Right. So it's completely normal.
Okay.
All right. What was the last one?
The last one was your weight was down a lot yesterday.
This one will really play with your mind because you crush it on your nutrition one day. And let's say your body weight goes down like 2 pounds in one day. You're like, I'm killing it.
I did it. It's kind of like I've figured it out. Like whatever I did yesterday, that was it. That was the key.
Yep.
And let's just cruise there.
So that super motivates you to have another amazing day.
Right.
Oh my gosh, my weight went up a pound. Now you're still down a pound from where you were 2 days ago before it went down 2 pounds, but you feel like an utter failure because you lost a pound of that progress. So be aware, if you see an unprecedented drop on the scale, it's really just a setup for a potential increase the next day.
Why is that happening though?
Well, you woke up lighter for any of the reasons that could be the opposite of the reasons that you could have woke up heavier.
Right. You didn't drink a lot of water.
You could have been dehydrated.
You didn't have a lot of salt.
You didn't have a high volume of food that day.
Yeah.
Alcohol has a big effect on these large fluctuations for a lot of people. But the point is, like, celebrate when you see progress that you want to see, but don't get overly attached to the motivation to continue with that should things reverse. Always focus on the things that you can control.
All these are playing into each other where we're taking these, like these are common weight fluctuations and we're going back and we're looking, we're also checking our non-scale progress. You know, we are...
It's holistic, baby.
Yeah. We're like thinking about these things that are going on, like, are we eating too many calories on the weekends? Are we having too much restaurant food? Things that we might need to check within ourselves. maybe we've opted for fattier proteins now. Maybe we have been having a lot of snacks that aren't high protein snacks. Maybe we've suddenly let, liquid calories slip into our diet. So like combining all of these ideas.
It's a master class.
This podcast you should be paying for this. Okay. Are we good there? So that was a lot of nutrition. We're gonna end it with some exercise lingo that you need to know. And I'm gonna do a lot of this because you might make this part take an hour, because there are 26, I think, things that you need to know I think
it's 24.
If you work out with us. So sit back, Jonathan. These are some common terms.
Sit over here.
All right. So if you do digital barbell training, you will see a lot of these pop up. When you start, we were just actually talking about this in our meeting with Haley. Like, a lot of times we want to throw all of this lingo at our new clients, and then they're like, "Oh, goodness,
this
what
is like
all
learning
this?"
a new language.
Yeah, we're trying to find the happy medium of not throwing it all in, but not having to put it in your workout every time you do a workout, because you eventually learn it, and it's a lot of words. And if I just skip to what the workout is, it's not so much to read. Anyway. All that to be said, here we go. 1 rep max, the most weight you can lift at once with perfect form. That's your 1 rep max. 1 rep max back squat. What is the most you can do for 1 rep with great form without failure?
And we don't test this on. Right. First of all, we don't test this all the time. But number one, there's really only certain exercises you would even want or need to know. Your
1 rep max curl.
Yeah. What's my 1 rep max tricep kickback?
We don't do. Yeah.
We're talking about the big boys.
Yeah, like the deadlift, the squat, the bench, the press.
And the only reason we care about them is because we want to work at a certain percentage of what that is.
Right. And it's not something that you always have to do, or even you have to know what you would do for your next one is your 3x5. So if you ever see back squat 3x5, that is back squat 3 sets of 5 reps. And here's the important part, with the same weight. This is the part that I think sometimes people that are new don't always understand. 3x5 across means I want you to have warmed up, gotten ready, and then do 3 sets of 5 reps at that same weight.
Yeah.
That's because you're going to total 15 reps with that weight, and then we're going to add weight when you can do that perfectly. And this is what we always talk about, is the linear progression for building strength.
I just want to emphasize one thing here. We're using 3x5 as an example here, but the point
3x8, it
the
can be
point
3x6.
The first number is the sets, the second number is the reps.
Right.
So if it said 4x8, 4 sets of 8 reps.
Mm-hmm. All right. Warm up sets. Going back to the 3x5, it's the sets done building in weight before you start your working sets. So we have warm up sets and we have work sets. The warm-up sets, I will a lot of times for new clients write this out. Generally, it would be 5 reps with the barbell. Let's say we're squatting. 5 reps with the barbell. 5 reps at about 65% of what you're going to do for your 3x5. And then 3 reps. And then 2 reps and then 1 rep up to about 95% of what you're going to do for your 3x5. Then plop your 3x5 weight on. What's your 3x5 back squat? Maybe
easily 500.
500 pounds. 500 pounds is on the bar. Then you're going to do that 3x5, 3 sets of 5 reps at the same weight. All right. Accessory lifts.
Nope.
Oh, that already talked about that. Work sets.
Okay.
Okay, just talk about that. Accessory lifts are single joint exercises or complementary lifts to your compound lifts. So, for example, give me some examples.
If a barbell strict press is your compound lift, Arnold presses with dumbbells are your accessory lift. If barbell curls are your compound lift, then hammer curls are your accessory
band curls. Yep.
Lifts.
So what are compound lifts?
Compound lift is just a way to say it's like a multi-joint, multi-muscle exercise.
Mm-hmm. More than one joint.
And sometimes an accessory lift will involve 2 joints too. I mean, an Arnold press is your shoulder and your elbow.
Yeah.
But the point is it's not the super heavily loaded exercises that we're doing in the smaller volume because of the loads associated with it. We can do lighter weights, more reps for these accessory exercises.
Okay. Next one, superset.
Lacey is really chewing that bone down there.
So this is when we're doing 2 exercises back to back with no rest. So I'll say superset tricep extensions and front raises. So you get your weights out, you do your set of tricep extensions, probably your hard set, put the weight down, go immediately to your front raises, do your front raises, and then rest after those two things are done back to back. And a lot of times these can be like complementary to each other, meaning like the muscles won't affect each other. So it could be like a press and a squat, or sometimes they can like be the same muscle group, so that it's not intended to be like your maximum lift for these movements, but it's intended to wear that muscle out.
Yeah, these can be fun to like introduce a lot of fatigue on one muscle, or to just shorten your workout by, like you said, using the antagonistic muscles back and forth, like a push pull.
So supersets are your 2 exercises done back to back. Giant sets is a same idea, but a list of exercises. So a giant set would probably be 3 to 4 exercises, and the idea is that you hit each one of those. There can be like, some transition to walk to your next movement. It doesn't have to be like right back to back to back to back so quickly, but you're not intended to have rest until you get to the end of that list, and then you're going to rest for like probably a minute and a half to 2 minutes before you hit that giant set again.
Yep.
Again, these are done like a lot of times to save time or to just put a lot of volume on certain muscle groups.
Yep.
All right, next one, AMRAP. AMRAP. So this is usually commonly seen in the CrossFit style workouts, the conditioning section, where you are doing as many rounds as possible of the list of movements in a given time. So if it says 12-minute AMRAP and you have 3 exercises listed, you will go through those 3 exercises as many times as you can in the 12 minutes, including the extra rounds that you get. So if you finished 4 rounds and you were in the middle of the 5th round, keep going. And when the time stops, you can be like, my score was 4 rounds plus 18 reps, something like that.
So these are a great way to get some hypertrophy stimulus with the weightlifting, if you're doing that, but this could also be body weight stuff. But the point is, this gives you a conditioning effect because you're moving quickly.
Yep. Next one is EMOM, EMOM. So you might see something like EMOM by 10. So this means to work every minute on the minute. So you will do the work that is listed and then rest until the next minute hits. And sometimes this will be just one movement that you're doing, like, EMOM 10 push-ups. So every minute do 10 push-ups, rest until the next minute hits, and do that. So you accumulate a lot of push-ups over 10 minutes, or it can be 2 to 3 movements, and you do movement 1 in the first minute, movement 2 in the second minute, movement 3 the third minute, and just keep going through that cycle. But same idea. It's always work for the number of reps that are given and then rest until that next minute hits. These look easy, but they are not easy because the clock and the coach is controlling your rest. You're not controlling your rest. So you might end up like feeling like you have tons of rest at the beginning of these, and time quickly catches up with you and you are almost transitioning directly to the next thing. And they're very tough. I find it, like, especially with novice trainees, they have a hard time with these because the clock is controlled, but they're really good. They're really good for you guys to stay on track and to push yourself, to get work done and then have a little bit of rest. If
you're somebody who is really short on time, these are great. And if you're somebody who has a tendency to dilly-dally on their phone too much, these are great.
So in a similar vein, there is Tabata. So Tabata is 8 rounds of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. So the whole thing of Tabata takes 4 minutes, but it is quick. It would be something probably like burpees or push-ups or double unders or something like, something where you're going to be sprinting for 20 seconds, rest for 10, which feels like almost nothing, and then right back at it for 8 rounds.
You wouldn't want to do this with like a back squat.
No, you wouldn't want to do it with really significant weight or anything that you have to like prepare, because you just don't have enough time to like get it back up.
Unrack the bar, step back, like, okay, I'm out of time.
Yeah.
These are sneaky brutal.
Right. This one, PR, we probably already know what that means, personal record. So if you see like, write down your back squat and then you put PR, that's your personal record.
I do that every day.
Some of these are easy. Cardio, we know what cardio is. Gains, we know what gains are.
Not everybody knows what cardio is. Cardio is training that increases heart function and health. Like some people might think that, I don't know. Like,
I'm laughing that we put gains on here. Is that a proper term?
Heck yeah, that's in the literature. Gains, increase in strength or muscle size. You have made gains.
Oh my goodness. Okay. ROM, ROM is range of motion. So a lot of times I will use this term a lot with clients, and I'll type it out at first, and then I just start to put ROM. So I will be like, when you do those push-ups, let's bring your chest all the way to the floor so you're working your full ROM, the full range of motion. And we always want you guys working the full range of motion for each exercise to stay safe and to get the most benefit out of that exercise.
The saying goes, strength is gained in the range of motion in which it's trained.
Yeah, so if we're doing our push-ups like this is the range of motion that we're building our push-ups. And if we're doing our push-ups like this is the range of motion that we're building that strength. Drop set is like extra exercise volume added at a lighter weight. So maybe you did your 3x5 back squat, and then you take weight off, and you did it immediately, and you did one more set, probably of more reps.
Probably
that is
close to failure.
Considered a drop set. Mm-hmm. I like to do these with like curls and stuff.
Yeah, this will be like run the rack.
Well, it's like I like to do
every set is a drop set.
Not run the rack, but I will often do these with like barbell curls. I'll do like my three hard sets at a certain weight, and then I'll like skim everything off and just use empty barbell, like and see like maybe you can do like, you know, I think I can do like 25 reps, but you've already built a lot of fatigue, so you can't. But yeah, I really like them with like curls.
Speaking of building fatigue,
pump. Can't we believe we put pump in here? But pump.
Maybe people know what it is.
That pump.
The pump is when you take your pictures.
No, what's the pump?
It's the physical increase in the size of your muscle from a hard effort of weightlifting.
It's a tight feeling in your muscles.
Your muscle is literally bigger from all the metabolite buildup and from the increased blood in the muscle. This is the reason that you actually look more muscular right when you finish your workout, and that is gone 2 hours later, unfortunately.
If you've been working out with us recently, I've been writing some really good pumps for the triceps. So we've been doing some like back to back supersets or giant sets. And then afterwards, I'm like, my triceps feel like they're about to like come through my arm. Like, that's the pump. That's what you're talking about. All right. Hypertrophy.
That's just a fancy way of saying your muscle has grown. Hypertrophy.
Yep. Actually, yeah, there's 24. Okay. I was like, this is repeated. All right. Last 6. We're almost there. Volume.
Total amount of work done in a workout or in a set. Like, it's basically the weight you lifted, the amount of weight times how many reps and sets that you did. That's the total exercise volume. One of the main drivers of how much progress you make in strength and muscle gain.
And the benefit of having a coach write your stuff for you is that you guys don't have to really worry about total volume. Like, we think when I write a week of programming, I think about how much volume are you going to do on your quads, how much volume are you doing on your triceps, how much volume are you doing on your biceps,
how much conditioning volume
and like we were talking about earlier, there's so many things that like have crossover that you actually have to kind of know what lifts hit what different muscles to figure out your overall volume, because you could either be not doing enough or doing way too much. But it is the benefit of having someone write a program for you if you're not familiar with all this, so that you can get just the right amount of volume to make progress
and having
the
right
hurt yourself.
And one thing about this is like, and this run into this with CrossFit a lot, because like, you know, a clean is not the same exercise as a deadlift. A kettlebell swing is not the same exercise as a sumo deadlift high pull, but there's a lot of overlap in the movement pattern, and you could be opening yourself up for increased risk of injury by having too much volume in one specific movement pattern, like that pulling from the ground motion or that hinging motion. All those exercises I just said are variations of that thing. So if you're designing your own workout program, you got to understand that it's not just about the rep sets and weight. It's about how much volume of a specific movement pattern.
Like one example is like if you had a workout where you did deadlifts and then you had some conditioning where you did kettlebell swings, sit-ups, and rowing. Yeah. I would look at this as a huge amount of volume on the hinging and the low back. And I would say, like, I would not put those 4 movements together back to back or in the same workout. Yeah. So that's one thing, you know, where you think like, oh, curl volume. Okay. I did, you know, three curl variations this week. It's not really like that. And it can be like jumping volume. How much volume is on our Achilles? Like, are we running, jumping? Are we doing double unders? All these things back to back to back. That's a volume on our Achilles tendons. Yep. So it's kind of, there's a lot of it. Intensity.
This is just effort compared to maximum capacity. How closely are you working to the most that you could do? If you've been doing the same 3 sets of 10 with the same 12, 15 pound dumbbells, for the last year, you have no intensity in your workout. If you're doing 7 CrossFit WODs per week, you have too much intensity. Or
you might just be going through the motions and not actually bringing the intensity. So intensity can be how fast you're moving in a conditioning side, or it can be, like you said, like how much intensity are you putting into your weightlifting sets.
I apologize for how loud
really
that dog is chewing that bone over there, guys.
We're almost done.
Oh, producer, will you edit that out, please?
Time under tension. I like mention this a lot on some of my clients, because if something is difficult, like you'll be like, that movement is a lot of time under tension.
Yeah.
Which is just like how long are you under a load? How long is your muscle under a load?
This is the perfect example of time under tension is barbell 21s, or like doing curls where you do 7 bottom half, 7 top half, 7 full. That is a long time under tension. It's basically 21 reps, and doing the top set of them where you're having to eccentrically stop yourself.
Yeah.
And, that is more time under tension in that transition.
A lot of times the reason I'll mention this is sometimes people will find themselves frustrated by a movement. Like they didn't get to do as much weight as they thought, or they feel like they're not making progress. And something like that, I'll be like, no, that particular movement is a lot of time under tension, and it's designed to be that way. So you're going to have to lift a little bit less weight than you would have if you were, like, for the example of 21s is a great example. If you were just doing a hard set of dumbbell curls, you could do a lot more because you're doing it for like 12 to 15 reps and stopping. But if you're doing a set of 21s, that is a ton of time under tension, and the angle is changing. You're going to have to use a significant less weight.
If you're somebody who is like limited on the amount of weight that you have at your house to use, like you can use time under tension to your advantage.
Yeah.
Slow down the speed of your reps, or introduce like an isometric hold at one end of the rep, like a seesaw overhead press or seesaw bench press, where one arm is staying fully extended at a time.
It's a good trick for like travel too. If you can only bring like one pair of dumbbells, or you don't have a lot of access to the weights, you can use time under tension to keep making progress while you don't have access to your normal weights.
More time under tension won't result in much, if any, extra muscle growth, but it is a good way to maintain the stimulus on the muscle in a time where you're not really trying to make progress.
All right, RPE. So I
think we have a whole podcast, a YouTube video on RPE.
In our coaching, we use the hard sets.
Yeah, which is just another way to say it. Yeah, some people say RIR, reps in reserve, RPE, rate of perceived exertion, hard sets, whatever. But the point is, like, it's a subjective scale from 0 to 10, 0 being like, this was super easy, 10 being like, I could not have done one single more rep. My eyeballs were popping out, blood was running out of my eyes. And then we back down from 10 as a representation of how many reps did we leave in the tank that we could have done to get to 10, but we didn't. And the sweet spot for most people is in the 7 to 8 range. Like you leave 2 to 3 clean reps, not grinders, on the table. You're still going to make the same progress that you want to make without all the extra fatigue and risk of injury of working at RPE 9.5, 10.
All right. Progressive overload. There's 2 big ones at the end here.
we are going to do a whole YouTube video on progressive overload, but this is just your body's natural ability to adapt to the stress that you put on it. This is the way that you get stronger, by gradually challenging it to do a little bit more, make a little bit more progress by overloading it over time. A pound more, 5 pounds more, you get stronger. You add another pound, you get stronger. This is the thing that makes you make progress in your strength and muscle growth.
It leads back to the intensity. So if we're always like, okay, if we always like I do my curls at 15-pound dumbbells, and you never change them. I do my strict presses.
My routine.
I do my bench presses at this weight, and I never change it. And it's always 10 reps. You're not bringing the intensity, and you're not utilizing progressive overload to make progress.
And really, intensity and RPE are tied together too.
Yeah.
If
you're not right. As you get stronger, you're going to be dropping down that RPE scale, and so now your 3x10 bench press is like in
RPE
the 3
5.
area, and so that's why you're stopped making progress there.
And if there's one thing that like people who start working with us change to make more progress than they did in the last 10, 20 years, It's by introducing a program with progressive overload and bringing the right intensity to it.
Yep. All right, last one, deload. So this is a period cycle in your training cycle of decreased work for recovery. So we will pop these in
with the general population.
With the general population, you deload yourself. You take, especially
life deloads you.
You take a break in the summer. You are going to be on vacation. You do things like, I'm going to add some time under tension, or I'm going to do some band workouts to keep the consistency alive and to keep, stimulating the muscles like we normally do, but you're not utilizing the same weights. That's great. That's your deload week. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. And so this fits into a lot of people's schedule kind of seamlessly. Like I've been asking a lot of my clients, like, what's your, some of them already know, but like, what's your schedule for the summer, and see if they need a deload week. Like, I'm not doing anything different. You need a deload week probably coming up. But if I'm going on vacation in June, I'm going here or there,
yeah,
you've deloaded.
But the point is, like, if you are super consistent with your training, and like what happens is you accumulate fatigue across the course of weeks and months. Like, your body is not keeping up with the recovery side of the stress recovery adaptation cycle. So taking a dedicated time where you pull the total volume, intensity, and load down gives your body a chance to catch up on all that accumulated fatigue. Yeah. And then the idea is you actually come back from that reduced deload week even stronger than before you took it. And a good thing to keep an eye on when it's time to think about doing a deload, if you are that person who's super consistent, is if you start getting little nagging injuries pop up, if your sleep is starting to degrade, if your motivation to train is dropping off, all those kinds of things are a sign that might be time for a deload.
Or you're like not making progress, you're just like kind of stuck at the same weights. Yeah. And this is for people probably who are doing more like a linear progression, and you've just been stuck for weeks at the same weight. It's time to pop in a deload week, take some stress off, give yourself some recovery.
Yep.
All right,
man. Infographics Central. Dude, we could do like
to the rescue.
We could easily do 10 more of these episodes with all the infographics we have in the hopper. I think we're going to start popping some of them out of our editing program here and start posting them on Instagram and see what the algorithm thinks about them.
You're like, what year is it?
You posted this in 2018. We are penalizing you. Go to the naughty.
We'll show it to nobody.
Go and sit in the corner.
We'll put it in the story and y'all see her. That's the sneaky way to get you to see stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, the dogs are getting restless, and that's a sign that we better cut this one off. But I've enjoyed going through this. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you are watching this on YouTube for this first time, make sure that you subscribe before you leave so you'll get notified anytime we post a new video. All right. You guys have a good day.